We'll discuss now about ascent of sap and its events. Ascent itself, it refers to upward movement, okay? Going up or moving up is called ascent. Sap refers to water mixed with the minerals. It is referred as sap, okay? Here, sap refers to water that is absorbed from the soil along with the minerals is called sap, okay? So, the upward movement of water and mineral salts from roots to different parts of the plant is called ascent of sap, okay? So, we'll discuss now what are the events that take place during this step, okay, that is this process called ascent of sap. And there are some factors which are responsible for or playing a role in ascent of sap. First one is root pressure. Water from soil enters the root hairs due to osmosis. This is what you have learnt already. So water is absorbed from the soil and water molecules now entering into root hairs due to osmosis. This results in pressure, okay, increased pressure. So that pressure is called root pressure. Pressure that is created in root is called root pressure. It is due to osmosis, that is water from the soil entering into root hairs due to osmosis. So root pressure is caused now, that is responsible for movement of water up to the base of the stem, okay. And capillary action is another force, okay, that is responsible for ascent of sap. Water or any liquid rises in a capillary tube because of physical forces is called capillary action. Capillary action refers to water or any liquid that is rising up through a capillary tube. Okay, capillary tube, it refers to a tube with a very narrow space inside is called capillary tube. So when water moves through such a tube, okay, that is capillary tube, by or it is due to physical forces is called capillary action. So in the same way, in stem, water rises up to certain height because of capillary action. Okay, like capillary, that is capillary action, which usually occurs due to physical forces. So same way, in stem also, this capillary action is responsible for the this water movement to certain height. Then we'll discuss about there are some forces called adhesion and cohesion. So adhesion and cohesion of water molecules, they are responsible for this continuous column in the xylem. Okay, that is continuous column of water through the xylem because of these forces called adhesion and cohesion. We will discuss now what is this adhesion and cohesion, what it means. That is cohesion, it refers to the force of attraction between molecules of water. Cohesion refers to a force of attraction between molecules of water. And adhesion, it refers to the force of attraction between molecules of different substances. Cohesion refers to force of attraction between molecules of the same substance. But adhesion refers to the force of attraction between the molecules of different substances. These two forces are both, that is cohesion and adhesion, are responsible for ascent of sap. Water molecules stick to the walls of xylem because of the force of adhesion. Okay, because of the force of adhesion, water molecules stick to the walls of xylem so that continuous supply or continuous movement of water up through the xylem takes place. Another factor is called transpirational pull. Transpiration through stomata creates vacuum, which creates a suction called transpiration pull. This is also what we discussed in detail. That is, when transpiration occurs, that is, it causes, in mesophile we learnt already, it causes some vacuum, that is pressure, it decreases, that is, it causes suction. That is, suction, it refers to the force that sucks, okay, that sucks water from the other area. So this is called transpirational pull. Transpirational pull, it's a force caused due to transpiration, because transpiration, it causes vacuum. So to fill this or to equalize this vacuum, more water is absorbed or sucked. Okay, so this is called suction. And the transpiration pull sucks the water column from the xylem tubes, and thus water is able to rise to great heights even in the tallest plant. Okay, so this is how water is able to raised up. Okay, water is raised up in plants with more height or great heights. Okay, so this is how these are the factors how they are responsible for ascent of sap. Okay, so this is the picture to show that how water moves steadily. There is a steady movement, or we can say there is a continuous column of water that is supplied or that is moved up to all the parts of the plant. And this is also what is given in your book also. So this is to show when transpiration, when it creates suction, that is a transpirational pull occurs. So that pull, the transpirational pull, it causes suction. So due to which water, it moves steadily up towards the other parts of the plant. So we will discuss now. So with that, we have completed about transportation in plants. So now we will discuss about what is transportation, or how transportation takes place in particularly in human beings. Blood is the main circulatory medium in the human body. Okay, so blood is the main circulatory medium, so that you can understand it is the one to help in transporting materials through the body. It is a red colored fluid connective tissue. Blood is a red colored fluid connective tissue. It's the tissue which is in fluid condition or fluid state. And we'll discuss now what are the components of blood. Blood consists of two main components, the fluid plasma or the liquid plasma, and the formed elements which refer to blood cells, which are found suspended in the plasma. Okay, please try to understand there are two elements present in the blood, or there are two components present in the blood. One is the plasma, which is liquid or fluid. Other one is the solid part, that is formed elements that refer to blood cells like RBC, WBC and platelets. So these blood cells or formed elements are suspended in the liquid plasma. Okay, so these are the two components of the blood, that is liquid plasma or fluid plasma, and solid blood cells are the formed elements. So we'll discuss now about plasma. It is slightly alkaline in nature. Okay, it is not acid also, it is little alkaline, containing non-cellular substance which constitutes about 55% of the blood. Okay, it contains substances which are non-cellular. They are not cells actually. Non-cellular substances which constitute about 55% of the blood. So plasma is out of the total volume of the blood, 55% is formed by plasma. Organic substances like proteins, glucose, urea, enzymes, hormones, vitamins and minerals are present in the plasma. Okay, so these are the substances, organic substances present in plasma. And formed elements of blood, it refer to blood corpuscles or the blood cells which are of three types. That is RBC or red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes, WBC or white blood corpuscles or leukocytes, thrombocytes or blood platelets. Okay, these are the formed elements. And red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes, they are most abundant cells in the human body. Okay, that is per cubic millimeter of blood consists of 5 millions of RBCs. So much of RBCs we have, even a drop of blood, okay, a single drop of blood consists of around 5 million RBCs. So they are formed in the bone marrow. They are originated from, so their origin is from bone marrow. The RBCs impart red color to the blood due to the presence of respiratory pigment called hemoglobin. Why our blood it appears red in color? That is due to the presence of a respiratory pigment called hemoglobin. Matured mammalian RBCs do not have cell organelles and nucleus. So what we have, that is mammalian RBCs, they don't have nucleus and also cell organelles. They are biconcave and disc shaped, and their lifespan is about 120 days. They live only for about 120 days. Then the worn out cells are they are removed, replaced, and new cells are formed from bone marrow. Okay, they are removed in spleen and liver and such organs, and they are produced newly from bone marrow. So they are biconcave and disc shaped. RBC is involved in the transport of oxygen from lungs to tissues. A very important function of RBC is to transport oxygen from lungs to tissues. Okay, and even from tissues to all the parts of the body. So this is the structure of the RBC or erythrocytes. Please go through. So in the next class, we shall discuss about other formed elements. Okay, thank you.